All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Curiosity Corner Live. We are going to take a minute and let any friends who still want to join us connect because it's still bright early at 10:30. So, hope everyone's having a good day so far today. So it's still pretty cloudy out, which is interesting because we're going to talk about the sun. But according to the weather forecast, it's supposed to get a little bit sunnier as the day goes on, which is good. All right, good morning, Anthony. So, clouds aside, we are still going to talk about the sun. The sun's still up there, but even though we can't see it. So, hello. Just a reminder, the Great Lakes Science Center is still closed for the health, safety, and wellness of our guests, our staff, and our partners. But we are coming to you live every day at 10:30 and at 3 right here at Curiosity Corner Live. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not already done so. All right, so I think we've waited enough time. My name is Joy. I'm a guest engagement specialist at the Great Lakes Science Center, and I'm coming to you live from my home, and we are going to be talking about the sun, and we are going to be talking about sunlight today. Now, the sun is super important because it is, well, one, it's the center of the solar system, so it's always there. Good morning, Sarah. Now, the sun gives us light, it gives us heat, and it gives us energy. So the sun is actually responsible for a lot of really cool things that go on outside. So think about the sky for a minute. Not necessarily right now, because you can't really see the sky, at least not where I am because of the clouds. But if you go outside and look at the sky, what color do you think it might be? Now, I know right now it's kind of white and gray because of the clouds, but what color is the sky normally? At least this time of day. It's usually blue. Now, the reason why that happens is because of the sun. So the sunlight shines down and light travels in waves. And sunlight is white, but that means it's a combination of every color on the visible light spectrum. So there's blue, orange, yellow, green, red, all those colors in sunlight, but we see blue when we look up at the sky. Now, I have here, this is my sky. It's just a beaker of water. So I'm going to shine some light on my sky, and it just passes right through. I just put a light on water. It's not that exciting. But here's the thing. This isn't exactly how the sky works. Because when the sun shines down, it travels through the atmosphere. And the atmosphere has a whole bunch of little gas molecules that are all over the place. And when light hits those gas molecules, it scatters. And light that has different wavelengths scatters differently. So light with shorter wavelengths, like blue, scatters a lot more than light with a really long wavelength, like red or orange or yellow. So because blue light scatters a lot more, we see a lot of blue, which is why the sky is blue. Now, we're going to see if I can make that happen indoors. So this is another beaker of water. It has a special ingredient in it. It's milk. It's half a teaspoon of milk. So, through the magic of internet television, I'm going to make it slightly darker. Woo. Okay. So I have my sun. I have my sky. And let's see what happens. You see that? Nice, bright blue. That's what happens in the sky. When the sunlight bounces off of those gas molecules, the blue light scatters, and it reaches our eyes, and we have this nice blue color. Now, keep in mind, this is brighter than the sky because I have a light right next to it, but that's pretty darn cool. Hello, Sarah. Now, is the sky always blue? No. Sometimes, well, at night it's black, but sometimes when it's closer to sunrise or sunset, you get those yellows and oranges and reds. And that happens because the sun is actually a lot further away from you. So the sun is closer to you when it's directly overhead than when it's way, way down on the horizon line. So because the sun is all the way down at the horizon line, a lot of that shorter wavelength light, like that blue, has scattered away. So the lights with the longer wavelengths, like red or orange or yellow, can reach you. So if you look at the front of my beaker, it's still kind of blue, but there's also that warm dot of like that yellowy white right in the center. that's because that light is further away. So other wavelengths can reach you. So I'm going to magic of internet television again, turn the light back on. All right. So light from the sun is powerful enough to make the sky change colors. But there's also a special type of light that is in the sun's rays called ultraviolet light. And that is super, super strong. Now, about 10% of the sun's rays is ultraviolet light, but it's pretty darn powerful. So I have here, it's a piece of construction paper. No tricks, it's just a piece of construction paper. So what do you think might happen if I put this out in the sun for a while? Let's see. Oh, I like seeing sunsets too, Anthony. They're very, very pretty. Now, you can actually try this if you put a piece of paper out in the sun and you put different shapes on it and then leave it for a while and then take it back in. You can take the shapes off and make something cool. But here's the thing. I tried this. I put a piece of construction paper, not this piece of construction paper though, up in my front window for a whole week. I put it up early Monday morning, so it got a whole bunch of sun. And it changed a little bit. Now, this is kind of hard to see, but this piece of paper, it does not catch on fire. That would be pretty cool. I don't think it could get hot enough to catch on fire. Maybe if you threw it into the sun, but the sun is really, really far away. So it's a great guess, though. So if you notice, this piece of paper is lighter and not as bright as this piece of paper, because this one was sitting out in the sun and it had some ultraviolet rays shining down on it. So I have another piece of paper that it's much easier to see on, because I did this with a blue sheet of paper too. So we have this nice dark smiley face in the middle of the paper, and the rest of it is really, really light. Now that happens because of the ultraviolet light. Now, what happens is there's chemical dyes in here in this paper that make it this bright blue or that bright orange. But when they interact with ultraviolet light, those chemical dyes react and break down. So it's not as bright. Now, what I did with this I actually did not sit there with shapes on it. I used sunscreen. So this smiley face, this nice dark smiley face, was one type of sunscreen. And the nose and the dots in the corners that you can kind of see were a different kind of sunscreen. And this is why we should always wear sunscreen if we are going to be out in the sun for a very long time, because the areas that have the sunscreen were protected from those ultraviolet rays, and they still held their color pretty darn well. Now, so we've seen sunlight is powerful enough to change colors in the sky, and it's powerful enough to affect dyes in construction paper from inside my house. If I had left that outside, it probably would have faded away even more. But we can actually use the sunlight for energy. So there's solar cars now, there's solar panels on some houses. So we even have solar panels at the Great Lakes Science Center. So if you pull up in our front driveway, there's like these canopy things. This is exactly what they look like, clearly, that have solar panels. And the great thing about solar energy is that it's renewable. We can use solar panels and solar energy over and over and over again, and there's no carbon emissions. So it's really, really good for the planet. But we don't need fancy solar panels in order to harness the sun's energy. So we can do that with something called a solar oven. Now, a solar oven is something that we can make with stuff lying around our houses. And then if we stick it outside, we can use the energy from the sun to cook stuff. So, this is my solar oven. So, okay, why does the sun make us darker and we tan it, it makes the color fade? So it has to do with the pigments in our skin. So we don't have the specific dyes in our construction paper or like in Anthony's rug that fade. It all has to do with how the color in our skin reacts without these special colored dyes. Now, yeah, because Anthony's rug fades too. Now, solar oven, you will need a few things. One, you will need an adult because this requires sharp objects, and safety is very, very important in general and at the Great Lakes Science Center. And you will need a box. Now, a pizza box works the best, but if you are like me and don't have a pizza box lying around, you can use another type of box. So pizza boxes are usually recommended because of their size and their height. as long as you use a box that has like a flat top and doesn't just use the 4 flaps that are folding over on themselves, you should be good to go. But if you think you can make a different type of box work, try it. We'd love to see it. So first thing you're going to do is draw a flap, sort of a rectangle, but you don't need that top edge, about 1 inch away from the outside of your box. So it's this big rectangular U all the way around. So you're going to make a flap with this. And once you have that drawn, you can go ahead, grab your grown-up, and have them help you cut along those 3 lines. So that way, you have a nice flap that can open and close. So now what you're going to do is you are going to grab some aluminum foil. And we really like foil because it's super duper shiny and the sun's rays can bounce off of it and get to where it needs to be. So you're going to need 2 or 3 pieces. And first one is going to go on the inside of this flap. So what I did was I just put a big piece right here on the flap and then I wrapped it around and taped it down so it was nice and secure like that. And you're also going to want to put your foil on the inside of your box so that way it covers the whole bottom and the sides. Now, when you're putting anything on the sides of your box, make sure you test it before you tape it down that your box can still shut. Now, what this does is it bounces the sun's rays. So we have the energy from the sun and the heat that's going to bounce off of this and into your box. Okay? So once you have your foil taped down, you want to grab some plastic wrap. Now, plastic wrap works the best, but if you don't have any plastic wrap, that's okay. You can always get a clear plastic bag that should do the same thing. You will need 2 pieces of whatever plastic you grab. And what you're going to do is you are going to make a window. So when you cut this flap, you have that open window right here. So you're just going to tape those 2 layers of plastic wrap or plastic in. So what I did was I put a layer, taped it nice and secure, put another layer, taped it nice and secure. Now, the reason why you want 2 layers is because you want to create an airtight seal. So what we want to happen is the sun to bounce off and get into your solar oven, heat whatever you're trying to heat up, but we don't want the sun's heat to be able to escape. So if it tries to come out this way, we want it to hit that plastic wrap instead of just flying away off into the air and losing all of your heat. So we have the main structure of our solar oven done, which is great. Now we want to see if we can make it as successful as possible. So you're going to add a piece, maybe 2 pieces, depending on the size of your box, of black construction paper. Now, black construction paper absorbs heat really, really well. So it's going to make sure that your oven gets as hot as possible. So we are going to tape that in to the bottom. Like I said, if you have a bigger box for your solar oven, you're probably going to need more than 1 piece of construction paper. But mine just happens to perfectly fit 1. So I'm going to make sure this is taped nice and tight, just like that. So I have my heat ready to get absorbed right there. Now you are also going to need some insulation in order to help trap that heat. So you can use pretty much any type of paper you want for this. I think that the best kind is newspaper just because it's a little bit longer and it's easy to work with. So what you're going to do is roll it up into a cylinder, just like that. And then I would recommend taping it shut so that way it sits together nicely. And then you can tape it securely into your box. Now you're going to need to do this 4 times to create a wall. I already did this out pre-show. I have my nice little wall. And I'm just going to make sure that that's taped securely. Again, make sure you can close your solar oven. But yeah, so this provides insulation so you can trap that heat. And there you go. You have a solar oven. So what you want to do once you're done with that, grab a heat-safe bowl or a heat-safe plate, something you want to try cooking. You could try s'mores or nachos or who knows, sky's the limit. Put it in the box, close it, make sure it's closed nice and tight. If I can get the flap in the actual thing, that would be great. There we go. And now all you need is somewhere sunny, so you can go put this in the sun. Now, the one thing you will need to figure out is how you're going to make sure that the sun goes into your solar oven. Because, say I use this container of marbles to prop this door open and then drop it. You think that's going to get very much sun? Probably not. What we want is for this flap to be open enough that the sun's rays will catch and bounce in to your solar oven and then heat up whatever you have in there. Now, this will take a while, so be patient once it's sitting out in the sun. It's not like a microwave. It will take a few minutes, probably longer than a few minutes. But it's pretty darn cool. So I made a solar oven to harness the power of the sun, which brings me to your challenge for today. So I challenge you to harness the sun's power where you are. So you can either make sun prints by doing what I said, taking some construction paper outside, putting some stuff on it, and then leaving it sit for a while and taking it away and seeing what you come up with. Or better yet, make your own solar oven. So you can use the exact structure I used, or you can try different shapes and sizes of different cardboard boxes and see what you come up with. But whatever you do to harness the sun's power, make sure you share your creations with us. Tag us on social media. Use our hashtag StayCuriousCLE. We cannot wait to see what designs you come up with. So when you are finished creating, remember to put all of your materials away, wash your hands, and share your creations with us. And make sure you come back right here to Curiosity Corner Live at 3 o'clock. We're going to have a little bit more about the sun and light, and we're also going to have a sneak peek of what is coming up tomorrow on Curiosity Corner Live. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, like all of our videos, and then get creating, have fun, and until next time, stay curious.